We've heard from Accelerize and from Band Metrics, and now we're about to hear from the third one. We'll take it away, Talent Soup.
Thank you very much. Good morning. My name is Radford Harrell, and I am the president and head talent chef, if you will, of Talent Soup. And before we get started this morning, just to frame our time together, I'm going to run through some ads, and I'd like you to pay close attention to the people in the ads and see if you can determine what ties them all together. It's a pretty diverse group of folks. Heights, weights, ethnicities, ages, crosses the board. Any guesses? Everybody likes trivia. Come on. No? It's rhetorical, of course. I'm presenting. They're all booked through Talent Soup. That's the thread that ties them all together. Thank you. What does Talent Soup do? Well, in a nutshell, we connect the faces of models, actors, and real people to advertisers that need that look. It's pretty straightforward. And as you can see, we have a lot of different looks, a lot of different faces. So it sounds simplistic enough that we sell faces, but to break that out and be a little bit more specific, it is about connecting the models, actors, and real people. Even VCs actually are participating in the Talent Soup marketplace. And with a 2-year beta under our belts and some Fortune 500 clients and $250,000 in revenue to show for it, I'm incredibly excited and honored to be here to talk about what we think is proof of concept and where we're headed. So the modeling business, you might be familiar with it or might not, but like a lot of industries, they're set in their ways, which is actually good for us. The modeling business is built on the idea of controlling supply and demand, standing in the middle of a transaction and limiting market access from the supply side, in our case talent, and access to the talent by the demand side, the client side of the equation. This has resulted, a 70-year-old industry has resulted in a highly fragmented collection of service providers, seller-driven pricing, often variable depending on the day and the way the wind's blowing, vastly limited selection, not unlike Walmart can only manage a certain number of SKUs inside the concrete box. They have a finite number of folks that they can provide to the advertising business. And in 7 years of buying faces, we found really horrible service and actually combative oftentimes. And that's where the opportunity lies for Talent Soup. Talent Soup is about freedom at the end of the day. Through the economies of scale and technology, we offer a huge variety, one-stop shopping for soup to nuts, every ethnicity and age you could look for. It is buyer-driven pricing, and because of the kind of Anderson's approach to long-tail economics, we can serve the low end, the long tail side of our equation, as well as the meat of the market, because we recognize the economies of technology make our acquisition and carry costs for talent very, very low. And at the end of the day, we want to have fun and provide great service, and that's what we've been doing for 2 years. A few months ago, the world-renowned marketer and author Seth Godin had a quote on his, or rather had an entry on his blog titled, "Where have all the agents gone?" And I thought it sums this up really, really beautifully. And basically what Seth said is, go too fast, is if you're standing in the middle of a transaction between two groups or things that are trying to connect with one another and you're not bringing value to that equation, your time is limited. And I'm thrilled to say that Talent Soup is going to accelerate the extinction of that business as quickly as we possibly can. So this whole idea was, our watershed moment actually was solidified for us back in 2007 with a duck, with the Aflac duck actually specifically. And by the way, I have some jokes peppered through this, and so they don't get much better, so you guys can laugh at my jokes. Good. So Aflac was putting together a very large project. They needed 44 total talent. And they went through the normal channels in Atlanta, and they went to the advertising agencies and they said, we need 44 talent. And the agencies came back and said, well, that'll be almost $250,000. And the photographer and producer on the project, of course, freaked out a little bit. And they recognized not only did that not meet the budget, but they were going to have to deal with multiple pricing, multiple agencies, because not a single company could provide all the faces they need. So Talent Soup got the call, and we were able to provide a huge selection of talent across the board. It was a huge variety of ethnicities and ages that they needed. We did it very, very quickly through our proprietary platform, our beta platform at the time, and we did it for less than $100,000. And so that's a win, and that's a great story, and I love talking about it because it's revenue, and I love revenue. Everybody loves revenue. But that's not really what was the most exciting of this exchange with Aflac. What was most exciting is the reaction of our entrenched competitors here in Atlanta. And they reacted out of fear. And allegedly, they colluded together and sent a letter out to their talent, to their models, threatening them with blacklisting if they were found to be participating with any, the nefarious term, online casting companies. And of course, it was targeted at us. And out of that discovery, which some of the talent sent us the letter, we lost one model in that project. Out of 44 people, we had one young lady that didn't want to upset the relationship she had, which we totally appreciate. We replaced her in minutes. It was not a big deal. So it was a win-win-win. I mean, everybody's searching for the sweet spot, and that was the sweet spot. So for us, it was about focusing on, initially, our beta platform was proof of concept and the idea of pushing labor to managing, to finding, managing, and serving talent, push it down to them, to crowdsource, to use the term. And it's a tight-knit group. So they talk among themselves. We have a great value proposition to the talent, which is free, no barrier to participation with us. And we saw great results, and it continues to grow every day. I think we're at 6,800 or 6,900 total folks in the system. So it's going like gangbusters. And taking 2 years of knowledge and experience with all of our clients, we have a great client list, and listening to them, what we've recognized is they want automation as well. They want self-service tools as well. And that's what we've been doing for the last 7 months. And I brought my brilliant software engineers with us over here to talk about that a little bit later. But 1.0, really moving out of beta and moving toward 1.0 is really about speed and scale and focusing on that transaction and doing so in a way that ultimately yields, again, a great experience for everybody. Great on the supply side for the talent, great on the client side. And our clients keep coming back for more, so something's working. One of the reasons we know that the entrenched competitors were a little bit hacked off at us is it's a big pie. And everybody, this is funny, because all startups, you need $1 billion market. Well, we have $1.75 billion market. So not to be left out of the game there. We're a subset of advertising. And actually, to be more specific, we're part of the creation of imagery, be it video or print advertising, among the advertising world. In 2007, it's about $150 billion in the space. Even with the vacuum being created as print channels adjust, like we see newspapers every day going out of business, magazines going out of business because of loss of advertising revenue, even with these adjustments in the space, we're unbelievably excited about where things are headed because online advertising is slated to double by 2011 to $50 billion, which is a $1.25 billion representation for us, what we're focused on. But more importantly, it's looking even a little bit further ahead into what we call the visual economy. And the advent of social networking sites exploding all over the place, people want to connect, and they want to connect visually. Facebook, by the name of the company alone, is an idea that you connect with people's faces. And advertisers know this, and Talent Soup is going to be on the front of the wave of serving those advertisers as they attempt to connect their products to people. The good news is we have a lot of competition. And that's one of my jokes. You guys are, okay. I'm the third person to go. That's all right. The old way of doing things, they've been around a long time. 70 years is a long time to be in business. Some of the folks you've heard of, but there are 30,000 players roughly in the talent space, the vast majority of which are sole proprietors with no paid employees whatsoever. So looking at this huge pie, 45%, little less than 45% of the total revenue in the space is managed by the top 50 companies. So there's still tons of room on the bottom end that all these other little mom and pop shops are dealing with. Talent technology has not been a favorite among the old way of doing things, among the old players. And a few years ago, some enterprising folks came along and said, you know, vanity is a powerful motivator to remove money from people's wallets if we promise them things. So they created some subscription model sites, and I think they do pretty well, but there's no transactional ability, and in 7 years of buying faces on the production side, we've never shopped anybody out of these sites. It's just a membership-driven model, and talent is looking for any way they can to get plugged in, and so $6 or $7 a month, maybe that doesn't seem like a big deal to them. But we think that the leap forward is a tech-enabled marketplace, and that tech-enabled marketplace is Talent Soup, quite frankly. There's not a lot of magic here. I wish there was, because maybe it sells it better, so I get the vote for winning the competition. But it's about connecting talent to the clients in a web-enabled, tech-enabled marketplace. It's that simple. And that's what the beta platform, rather, has done really successfully, and the 1.0 platform is going to do even more. That's the rocket ride for us. Also, and not to drill in because of time constraints, but not unlike a reseller account for Amazon or an eBay account storefront, we also allow existing competitors to participate in our marketplace, and they've actually done so voluntarily. About a year and a half ago, they started calling and just saying, I'd like to put all of my talent into Talent Soup. And these are typically boutique agencies that are trying to be competitive. Our beta is built around a talent booking model, basically. And the 1.0 release, as I mentioned, is about scale and speed, and that's where the transaction and the scale happens that we're really quite excited about. Recurrent talent booking, it is a recurring revenue stream for us, and it looks like this. It's not too hard to wrap your head around. 20% of a talent fee that we dictate what we think fits the client's budget and market value for the talent. We add 20% to it. That's our gross profit. It's pretty straightforward. There are multiple revenue streams that we've identified in this space, and we're really acutely focused right now on leveraging and exploiting what we know to be a solid revenue stream, which is the talent booking. So reaching the market, up until now, the talent have been great about spreading the word, and they continue to do so. All of our growth has been organic and viral. We haven't done a lick of advertising on either side of our equation, clients or on the talent side. 72% in the Southeast, about 2,400 to 2,900 within 150, 200 miles of Atlanta, which is a great example of how the organic model can grow. But the folks writing the checks at the end of the day are commercial photographers or their producers by proxy. 21,000 in the U.S., about 8,000 what we consider hard targets, which are folks that regularly shoot a lot of lifestyle advertising or fashion or editorial. And in 2 years of talking to these clients formally and informally about what the value proposition of Talent Soup is, consistently they're highly receptive. They're actually genuinely excited, partially because we all get excited about anything that makes our life easier, more competitive, our clients happy, etc. But also because, quite frankly, they're tired of the combative attitude of the entrenched modeling agencies. And if anybody's ever bought advertising and bought models, you might have had some experience with that. So going after our clients, the check writers, it's really a mix of a viral campaign and a traditional marketing campaign. We're in the visual business. They respond really well to visual advertising, and so we're going to continue that as we move forward. As I mentioned, I'm Radford Harrell. I have a background in medical devices, and there's actually a really interesting connection here. My first startup was called ThoughtBank in 2000, and it was actually an idea marketplace for product information that was created by surgeons. And that's kind of how I cut my teeth on the whole entrepreneurial bug, and it bit me. Also joining me today is Jared Ponchett, who's co-founder of Sprocket Design. They're managing the 1.0 development. And the lead software engineer is James Sansbury, and I'm happy to have those guys along as well. A world-class advisory, and I'd like to point out Jamie Barden is my tag-assigned mentor and now friend, has been unbelievably valuable in this process. Rocky Butler, another mentor, is also here, another advisor. And I'm happy to report all of these people regularly weigh in on our progress and keep us on track. The money slide. This is a great one. Everybody has a hockey stick, and we don't want to be left out, so we're going to have a hockey stick too. The difference really is we have 2 years of real clients, real ads, a public face, a public result of what Talent Soup does. And those real numbers have helped us generate, obviously, our projections. And we think a combination of cash flow, the tag winnings, and a likely downstream funding raise of some kind is really going to help us meet this growth curve. And I'm confident that it is completely attainable. Of course, everybody's mileage varies, the de facto response to that. Speaking of tag winnings, let's talk about that. We have big plans. The timing of this for us could, frankly, not be better. With the momentum building for the 1.0 buzz, the incredible exposure we've gotten through tag, we're excited to just keep that ball moving ahead. And it's really going to allow us to focus on doing two things better than we could before tag. The first one is management recruiting and recognizing that as we continue to grow, we're going to hit that rocket point where we've got to have the right people standing by to step in and help us with growing this business. And initially, our targets are a CTO and a VP of sales. That's kind of our shopping list right now. Commercial photographers are a strange group. They, as a very tight-knit community, they actually create huge amounts of creative advertising imagery, and they're pretty easy to get to, and again, excited about the value proposition. And one of the ways we do that is just a kind of a straight credibility play in talking to their affiliations, and they're equally interested in how we're doing things and how we can help their membership. And then again, straight advertising, no real magic there. I do want to mention develop future revenue streams because we have one on the front burner right now with stock photography. For those of you that don't know, stock photography is basically spec photography. All the costs to create it are carried by the photographer in the hope that they can sell it. They're hedging through an aggregator like Getty Images or Corbis or iStock Photo, etc. I don't want to talk about that too much, but we've gotten, again, a great reception from the stock photo business because talent and locations are kind of their last mile, so they're interested. What do I want you to take away from this? Well, at the end of the day, Talent Soup is deceptively simple, but it's highly disruptive. We are, by definition, a disintermediary. Not only that, we have demonstrated results in a very large market, and it's that ability to be deceptively simple with some beautiful, complex software sitting underneath the concept, and highly disruptive, but proven, that allows us to continue to grow, as I hope I've made the case for here. And true to Tag's heart, and of course to ours, a vote for Talent Soup today is about a vote for jobs as well. And not just jobs that we've added to the payroll, but every time we book a talent in a new city, in a new market. In 2 years of beta in Atlanta, we've put hundreds and hundreds of talent to work, representing hundreds of thousands of dollars in fees to them. It really is about building a company around people on the inside of the walls of the company and people on the outside. And ultimately, that supports George's initiatives for films and productions as well. So folks, these companies have tasted Talent Soup. They've tasted it, and they keep coming back for more. And I really do appreciate my time. Thank you so much to TAG and to Jamie Barden, my mentor. This has been a great experience.